I want to talk to you today about two government studies. One that has to do with electric vehicles and the other with overall emissions in Canada. The electric vehicle one is fascinating because it says despite all of the billions that the federal and provincial governments have spent, sales of EVs are nowhere near where the government had mandated they should be. So by 2026, next year, the federal government had said it wanted 20% of all new vehicles sold in Canada to be EVs. It's not even close. It's about 8% that are being sold as EVs. It used to be about 17%, but then the federal government and Ontario and Quebec both ended their subsidies for people who wanted to buy new ones, and the sales plummeted. They've gone down 6 straight months this year because nobody wants EVs at the price that they have to pay for them. If the government will pay for part of it for you, well, fine, then they're okay with that. But they don't want EVs. That's one of the biggest hang-ups for EV in Canada is the cost. Cost is about $8,000 to $12,000 more per vehicle than the equivalent internal combustion engine vehicle. Then, of course, you have to add in the fact that the range isn't all that good, especially in the cold weather. And there aren't that many charging stations. And that's where this first study comes in. It says, despite having spent over $1 billion getting charging stations installed, the federal government wanted 66,000 of them built. By now, it's only built 12,000 of them. So it's way behind. And that's what bothers people who are thinking about buying EVs. They don't know where they can charge them. If they're going to go on a long trip, they're worried that between point A and point B, they might run out of energy because there's no place to charge them. So EVs, the EV program has been a flop. Now, Environment Minister Julia DeBrusen said last week that it was a flop because of market failure. It's not market failure. The market hasn't failed. That is the market. The fact that people don't want to buy them is consumers acting in the market to tell you what the demand is. If the federal government thinks it needs to subsidize these things through their nose, that's not the marketplace. That's interfering in the marketplace. So please don't say it's market failure that's led to this. The other study that I was talking about for Environment Canada said Canada is nowhere near its emission controls for 2020 and 2035. By 2020 and 2035, we'll be between 20 and 25% below our 2005 emissions. But the government had said it wanted it to be between 40 and 45. I think the 20 to 25 numbers are good news. I think that shows that we're working towards lower emissions. These arbitrary numbers that governments pull out of their hats and say we have to do this by this date are artificial. They don't take into account real world facts. And so I think it's much better that we get to 20 to 25% with the voluntary emissions controls we've had without a whole bunch of federal government, provincial government interference. Canada is slowly getting used to the idea that we need to cut back emissions. I think that we worry way too much about that. But if you're going to worry about emissions, take 20 to 25% off. That's pretty good. Keep working at it. And who knows how long it'll take before you get to 40 to 45%. I think it's all artificial. I think governments have failed us because they set these arbitrary targets that no one can meet. They got to stop doing it. For Post Media, I'm Lorne Gunter.